Were you expecting this all India rank? What was your parents' reaction when they understood that you had this kind of a rank? I mean, was it something expected out of, or it was all in the blue?
It was not straight out of the blue, but then I'm not a very padaku person. I'm a person who balances everything. Like right now also the papers are approaching, but I'm not a person who will study every day. I study in the morning, I do my activities in the evening, go outside at night for just getting freshened up and everything.
Right.
So it is important that whenever you study with an open mind.
Correct.
Important to find out important topics, important concepts, understand it more than ratifying it, what
Correct.
we say in our Indian schools. It is important to do that. And yeah, like I was not expecting a rank anytime because it's always a paper that is globally given and everything. But I knew I had the potential to score marks because I was a person who understood things easily.
Right.
And I'm a person who thinks that I can understand faster than what other people do.
Correct.
And yeah, I feel it was not out of the blue. And my parents' reaction, my parents first did not believe me because I'm not a person they see like he's studying the whole day, baaki bacche ye karte wo karte, not a person like that. So yeah, but then they were happy. My dad also called out my relatives to tell I got a rank वगैरह, so all good.
What made you to build this kind of a rank? What were the jugaads that you were in the mode of understanding, which probably are not a part of the book, but are a part of something that helped you to build this kind of a rank?
I'll firstly say that I'm not a very hard-working person, but I must be a smart work person, and I always thought that in the study text, you need to do questions that are after 2018 because they are more relevant. Obviously, in AFM, there are such topics that are very important, such as hedging. So for hedging, I did questions that were previously available also from 2014, 2016. And I feel it is important to practice in AFM. In like the Excel, I had almost completed 4,500 to 5,000 lines in practicing. So that is very important to get a flow of it and how do you actually solve questions for AFM.
Right.
And you need to have a very open mind in the exam. You do not need to overthink on everything. And I've given all 11 papers right now. So I think it's very important to be open-minded.
Correct.
To answer.
How much do you believe that the part of FM which is covered in the skill level, that needs to be thoroughly prepared before you get into AFM?
There is a lot of connection, especially when you go through the skill level papers. It is like you go to a center, you're giving a paper very formally. First of all, understand how to absorb the pressure, and that time we have the MCQ, so you are balanced out. But when you come to the professional level paper, it is all subjective. We have to write like a full-fledged answer. Right. So it is very important to go through the skill level papers, especially only if you have done the bachelor's and not any other chartered course. So at AFM, you can see that a topic like NPV or a topic like business valuation overall is very important because we went through that in FM.
Right.
And the same carry forwards to AFM in a larger level. But the base is very important.
Correct. There is a myth, or maybe you could share light on this, that online education करने से the kind of finesse, the kind of accuracy of knowledge, understanding जो हमें मिलती है, that is not at par. And multiple times, students actually shift to face-to-face learning. So how much do you believe that, because you studied AFM online with Professor, Manish sir at our end. So, was the online education effective enough as equal to offline? And, or rather, if it would have been offline, do you believe that it would have been better? Or on the contrary, being online, you still could pass. So what were the perspectives back at home? Because जब हम online पढ़ाई करते हैं, अक्सर the approach is very casual. During the lectures, we don't open our cameras. We don't ask. This is a general approach. So how different was your experience studying online AFM with Manish sir at Finplan? What helped you with this perspective to score and world rank?
So I'm not a believer who feels offline is better than online, because I feel in online first of all, you have access to recordings also.
Correct.
So when you're not able to attend live lectures, I'm not a person who attends live lectures, but I do not say you should not attend live lectures. You should attend live lectures. But if I'm not feeling good that I can attend live lectures at that moment, so I always was a person who went on recordings, because I can pause, I can rewind, I can understand the concept better. And it can happen when we are actually free from distractions and everything. We can plan our day with online lectures. So I always feel online is better. You can attend your live lectures when you have doubts. Always Manish sir also told us that we can contact him personally for any clearance of doubts vagera. So I'm always a person, sit online, sit at home, be fresh. You can rewind, you can understand the concepts faster, I feel, because when it's live or when it's in the face-to-face base, it is very easy to get distracted by your peers and anything that can happen which can make you miss a concept and then ask doubts later.
And Manish sir is very much known for having a lot of personal connection with the students. So how was your experience in the doubt solving method, or when it comes to the revision sessions, that were taken across, or the mentorship overall at large?
I would say Manish sir always asked his students to call anytime when they wanted. He was open of solving anyone's and everyone's doubts. So it never felt like you are restricted to not ask. I'm not a person who have asked doubts as such, but I've seen my friends, peers asking doubts and he openly answering them. The revision lectures are very good. He actually solved questions with us in the class, which made us understand the way you should think in an exam scenario, which actually helped. I feel exam kit is a very important thing because they are questions actually from the past paper. So It is what the ACCA is giving us for questions. So when we solve a question, it is important we read the question from top to bottom in order to understand everything, the scenario. And before reading the question, it's important to read the requirement. So we have in mind when we are reading, what do we actually want to find in the question.
Correct.
Right. So it is more about practice. You practice more questions, more latest questions. It gives you a fair idea of what the question asker or what the examiner from the ACCA side is thinking while questioning and while finding an answer from a student.
How much do you believe that students should pay attention to the mocks paper? How much should the student pay attention to the practice tests on the education hub, and how much, or should it only be syllabus completion? How was your experience on that front, on mocks and exam practice?
It is not in both the ends actually from my side. I do not focus completely on completing the syllabus and not even completely on doing mocks and everything. It is important you solve questions because the questions are something that are from the past papers and mocks are also something that is an exam scenario thing.
Right.
So when you're giving your questions or when you're solving your questions, actually thinking that you're doing in an exam or doing it by understanding. So it is the same thing I feel like the mocks. Only the mocks are one thing that you sit at one place for 3 hours, 15 minutes like an exam. I've not done that, but then I feel while solving the questions, you need to solve it as you're doing it in the exam based scenario.
What is one message for such students that if you are looking forward for a qualification like ACCA, it is something that can make you something like this, or it can shape you to become something like this? I mean, one positioning that you found as part of the experience learning ACCA within Finplan.
ACCA was like a very flexible course. For the first level, so you can book your exam as in when you feel you're prepared, and you can give it from your home or from the exam centers. So I would say that ACCA gave me when I went through the syllabus of ACCA, I could see a variety of things that you could learn about, not only based on finance or not only based on auditing. It contained auditing, finance, accounting, everything what you could look for in a commerce or so background. So that's what made me choose ACCA, which could give me an enlightenment on what could excite me more and getting an overall understanding of the commerce field.
How much of the support that you felt from Finplan that helped you? What were the benefits? What were the key differentiating points? Because as you would have also researched about other institute while you would have been learning, for ACCA, something that helped you at the institute Finplan that made you come the way that you have come a long way?
It was not very restrictive by any sense. And I could actually opt for the online classes, not sit in live lectures, but still have the recordings in my hand and still connect with the faculty whenever I wanted. Even I would give a shout out to Moise sir, who was always there whenever I wanted any type of guidance. He like when I went for my first job, or when I even actually wanted any guidance related to any paper, because at the starting stages I was very dicey about giving a paper, like whether I should give the attempt right now or not. But it was always him who picked up the call, solved my questions, whatever I had, and gave me the confidence I required to start my ACCA career.